Hey guys, I am jumping in here for a very impromptu video. I literally just got done bringing my kids home from school, and there's a lot of things going on with the Etsy print-on-demand niche right now. So I really wanted to jump on and make a quick video and kind of address some concerns and give a couple of quick tips to hopefully avoid getting caught in this whole Etsy mock-up crossfire. So there's a little bit of a situation in case you haven't heard. If you're watching this video, probably you've already heard about this, but Etsy has been flagging shops, banning shops, taking down listings, and basically just shutting down anything that is deemed a drop shipped product or not up to their standards of quality, essentially, which is primarily affecting people who are using mock-ups in their listings. So there's a lot of conjectures, a lot of rumors, and Etsy isn't exactly being transparent with, they haven't said anything really, a word about so far what is going on. So until we really get an actual statement from Etsy, we can guess and we can make educated guesses based on our experience and things we know about the Etsy algorithm, what is going on and why it's going on. So please comment below if this has affected you or, what your thoughts are on this. This is just sheer craziness, but I do have some tips to help. And I made a post on this, but I didn't really think that a post did it justice, I guess. There's some things that are kind of hard to explain when you're, typing 1,000 words a minute at the keyboard. So I really wanted to do a quick video as well. Okay, so for the first tip here, the first thing that I can tell you is make sure that you're not using the same mock-up images over and over again in your listings. So Etsy wants the product images on their site to be fair and accurate representations of the actual products customers are going to be getting after they get their product delivered. Some of the rumors are so far suggesting that if you use the actual mockups provided by Printify, this is about as fair of a representation as possible and you will be safe. That is not true. There have also been various Etsy sellers who have been affected even though they are using Printify's direct mockup images. So that does not give you just a safety free pass. Unfortunately, I wish it was that simple, but please do not go changing all your images to Printify's mockups because that will not help you. However, there are things that can actually help you. And I do want to point out that Printify is very aware of what is going on. I've talked to my sources at Printify. They are currently elbows deep in making changes and updating and talking to Etsy and really getting down to what is going on and how do they fix this. So if you are using Printify as opposed to some of these other print-on-demand manufacturers, Printify's got your back. They're already working on fixing it. So that is great news. So based on the patterns of what's been going on these past few days with the shutdowns and the things that they've removed, one of the things that we can know for sure is that Etsy wants their customers to be happy with the products that they're ordering. And this isn't a surprise, it's not new. They've always wanted their customers to be happy. But because they're really cracking down right now on anything that might suggest that your products are not being fairly represented to your images, things are a lot more serious right now. And that's where it comes into play of that tip number 1, do not use the same mockups repeatedly. Because this is a big potential red flag for Etsy to wonder, well, clearly, you don't have a model putting on the exact same shirt with different designs on it and posing the exact same way 30 times or 100 times in your shop. That's clearly a computer image, a computer generated image, and that's a red flag. So I did want to put that as my first tip because I know a lot of sellers that are in the print-on-demand niche do rely on a small handful of well-done images. And unfortunately, that could be a problem right now. Now, I do want a disclaimer. It's, 5 minutes in, so it's probably a little late, but I do want a disclaimer that, like I said a little bit before, these are conjectures, right? So I'm giving you my tips and my advice based on what I know about the Etsy algorithm. And I did consult my husband. I don't know if you've seen a lot of my videos before, but my husband is a data analyst, a data scientist. So he has a lot of knowledge as well about how these kinds of algorithms work. And, we've learned a lot over the last 15 years selling on Etsy ourselves about how the algorithm works and how to break it down. So I am trying to give you my best educated advice here. That brings me to tip number 2. Make sure that whatever mockups you are using have your designs represented on them in an accurate way. Okay, so this means that your design should match the shape and the movement of the garment in the mockups. If you have a model that's wearing a shirt and her shirt kind of bends and folds, you want the design to also bend and fold to match. You don't want it to be just flat and solid across her, wavy t-shirt or whatever it is you may be selling. You want them to actually look like they're real images and hopefully even be real images, but we don't all have the luxury of models at our disposal, so we do often rely on mockups. Okay, that being said, we want to make sure, obviously, that the fabric lays, the right way, the designs are fitted to the fabric itself. Flat lay images are easier to do this on. So if you find yourself wanting to update your images, first of all, don't panic. Don't be pulling an all-nighter tonight trying to update every single image. Just do your best job. Start with the main images first. And flat lays are an easier way to make sure that, you can more easily control the size, the dimensions, and the flow of the design on the fabric. In addition, place it has premium images and place it when you upload your design to their system will put those images in the right way on the garment. And that kind of rolls into the second part of this tip. You want to make sure that you are sizing the design appropriately on the garment, on your mockups. So what I mean by that is, let's say you have like a t-shirt that has a design that's about, 5 inches by 6 inches across the main part of the design. That's where most print-on-demand shirt designs tend to go, is like right here. Well, if your model shows the design covering a good chunk of the shirt, but your customers are actually getting their orders and the design is actually only on a small part of the shirt, they're going to be upset. They're probably going to put that in the feedback. They might post a picture in your feedback, and it may not match that representation of what the design looks like from your mockup. That is also going to be a red flag. So you need to make sure that you're not putting the images really big or the designs really big on your mockups. You want it to be accurate. And this is where it can come in really handy for new sellers to buy a test garment. So if you're using a print-on-demand manufacturer, like Printify or Printful or any of these other ones, you can actually buy a test product with one of your designs on it and see how it looks. So that's very, very important so that you can not only see how the design is placed on the shirt, which helps you when you're making your mockups to make sure it's accurate, but it's also going to help you see kind of the print quality and what it's really going to look like when your customers get it. Okay, that brings me to tip 3. Etsy wants to make sure that sellers are not drop shipping their products, right? So based on everything that's going on, I think it's pretty fair to guess that a huge part of why they are doing this massive crackdown is to eliminate drop shippers. They're trying to eliminate these people who start stores, throw a ton of listings up, automate everything, and just let it go and hope money rolls in. Because when you're not being personal with your products and you're not really um, invested in creating and designing and taking the time to make sure what you're selling and creating is good, your customers are also going to feel that on their end and they're not going to like their products when they get it as much as they would like it if it came from a shop who takes more time and attention to designing and creating their products, right? So drop shipping is bad. They've never ever allowed drop shipping, and print on demand has kind of been a little bit of a um not a loophole because it is allowed, but kind of a concept that Etsy allows, assuming that sellers are taking the time to set their store up correctly, be transparent that they're working with a printing company, and really take the time and energy to properly create their listings in Printify's side or in their print manufacturer side so that people are getting a accurate representation of what they're buying, that the mock-up image they're buying is really close to the physical product that they're getting. In addition to your images and your feedback, though, there are a few other red flags that can help Etsy determine if you are a drop shipper or if you're one of those like super impersonal shops where it may be more likely for customers to get upset when they get their order. So some of those red flags are going to be if you did not take the time to fill in your about section, your shop header, your shop announcement, if you don't have a profile picture of yourself, those are all going to be red flags that maybe you're not taking the time and care to invest in your Etsy store as a business as thoroughly as all the other sellers out there who are filling in those sections. So you want to make sure to take some time, if you haven't already done that today, to fill in your about section, fill in your shop header, fill in your shop announcement. These are great places as well to put some of your main store keywords in there and help you boost your SEO a little bit. And I talk a lot about that actually in my upcoming Etsy Seller Success Workbook 2.0. That is not ready yet. So this really kind of sucks on the timing of all of this. But if you have not already joined the waitlist for that, go to the link down in the description and jump on the waitlist because I go in super detail about how the Etsy algorithm works, why all of these things matter, and it's just very unfortunate that I'm kind of seeing all of this advice that I have written and filmed over the past couple of weeks be really necessary. So I'm sorry that's taken me so long to get out. In terms of filling in those sections, make sure you add a profile photo of yourself that you're, clear. You can actually see you and tell Etsy, hey, this is a human. That's going to be important too. Part of the reason that those things are all really important is because Etsy uses a customer experience quality metric in their algorithm, which means that the more your customers have good experiences, the more positive your feedback is, the more filled out your about section and your policies, your shop policies and your FAQ section, all of those things help build a better customer experience. So we want to have fair representation of our products, right? We want to have a lot of details and FAQs in our descriptions. We want people to be very clear what they're getting from us before they buy. We also want to fill in all of our shop sections, our about pages, headers, policies, etc., to help eliminate some of those things that can confuse customers or just allow room for misunderstanding or perhaps unaligned expectations. Because if you have customers that have a bad experience, that affects you. It affects your SEO, which I talk about in the workbook. But right now, it highly, highly, highly affects you for being flagged in this whole Etsy-wide mockdown sweep. You do not want to get flagged as being a store that doesn't provide top-notch customer experience because that is a valuable metric. It's a part of their algorithm. If you go through the Etsy Seller Handbook as well, you can read more about how their algorithm works. It's not always worded in the most user-friendly way, but you can read more about this, and they do explicitly tell you how their customer experience is factored into the algorithm. So these are important things. So essentially, long story short, the summary of these 3 tips is to be fair, be accurate, be descriptive, and make sure that what you're selling matches what the customer is going to get on the other end. I know a lot of us are really feeling pressure right now and wondering what's going on, wondering if we're going to be affected. But hopefully, if you follow these tips, that can help really reduce your chances of getting flagged. And please keep in mind that these are mostly being flagged by bots. It's automated, so you may still get a listing or hopefully not, but maybe your shop flagged by Etsy's system. If that happens, you can go ahead and open the appeals process. Don't be afraid to do that. And when you do that, be descriptive and be kind, be apologetic, and above all, don't get mad at them. They probably have a bunch of people just yelling their ears off in the email section right now, and it's very frustrating, and we all know that, but you will catch more flies with honey. I think that's the phrase. You will catch more flies with honey. You do want to always be kind and gracious when you're dealing with people, even when you're upset. So try to keep that in mind. Try not to panic. Hopefully, this won't affect you. I will be putting out all my most positive vibes that all of you amazing Etsypreneurs avoid this craziness. And please comment below if this has already affected you, or if you have any value to add on this conversation. Sharing is caring. So until next week's video, I hope this is helpful, and thank you so much for watching. By the way, that blanket video that I've been telling you guys I've had for a couple weeks, that dropped yesterday on schedule. So if you haven't seen that yet, definitely go to my channel and check that out next.